have learned to move from concepts to actions.
We want to revitalize the Nairobi Inland Container Depot.
The challenges that we face here are urgent.
No single person is going to succeed alone.
The Port of Mombasa is a key resource in the economy of East Africa and the Great Lakes nations. The port is the gateway to Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, Northern Tanzania, Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, and Ethiopia. Statistics indicate that the hinterland region served by the port is the second fastest growing region in the world economically. However, it is one of the most expensive regions in which to do business, partly because of delays and inefficiency both at the port and along the northern corridor.
Sasa na system zikikuja zikienda inakuwa sasa ni shida pale getini, hamtoki. Gari zote unapata zimefunga foleni, hakuna gari inasonga.
Hata sasa pale tumekwama kuanzia asubuhi.
These challenges caught the attention of both public and private sector members of the port community.
We launched a consultancy that was to look at what are the real issues, what are the inefficiencies in the port and the whole northern corridor, transport corridor. Why are there so many delays? Why is the cost so high?
You find that substantial amount of time is lost at the port.
People just sometimes delay and clearance, don't pay the duties before goods come in, and therefore goods stay at the port way too long.
And it is against this background that the Mombasa Port Community Charter was born. The Charter is an expression of commitment to discard the silo mentality work culture in which agencies have operated for so long.
Trademark facilitated the process of getting all these players together around the table, negotiated the Charter.
The Charter is basically focused on making our port efficient for purposes of ensuring that we become competitive in the global market.
This charter has 4 pillars. 1, improvement of physical infrastructure. The second is improving operational efficiency. The third is improving synergy and collaboration among the stakeholders. And the last one is improving the regulatory environment.
The new initiative complements efforts already made by the government of Kenya and regional leaders.
The current demand is 900,000 20 equivalent units. So even with this number 19, we still have a long way to go.
In the year 2008, the number of days the cargo took to leave the port of Mombasa after it had landed was an average of 10 days. That reduced to about 7.2 days in the year 2013. We intend to reduce that now from the prevailing 5 days to about 3 days by 2014.
The directives by the president affected the government organizations that were working at the port. So while the government got itself organized, the private sector, even though they have a loose arrangement of meeting with us every Friday, there was no binding instrument that will bring them together, commit them to do certain things in a particular time, in a certain manner.
The past 5 years have seen Mombasa port traffic throughput grow by 7.5% per annum, from a total of 16.4 million tons in 2008 to about 22 million tons in 2012. Statistics further indicate that at today's throughput, port utilization is saturated at over 90% of full capacity. Furthermore, delays at the port and poor infrastructure along the northern corridor have cost implications. In the most efficient trade corridors, transport costs make up only 4% of the cost of goods. But transport costs on the northern corridor are much higher.
If you look at our imports to get today, 30% of the cost of the goods goes into logistics.
Those high costs are then passed on to the consumer.
It used to take about 8 days to transport goods from the port of Mombasa all the way to Malaba. It has reduced to between 4 to 5 days. And we actually expect that if everybody takes their roles seriously, as per the port charter, then we believe that it will be able to even reduce that to between 2 to 3 days.
The signing of the charter by members before President Uhuru Kenyatta on the 30th of June 2014 was therefore a symbolic gesture towards achieving that much desired efficiency that will make the region an attractive investment destination. Members of the charter appended their signature to the charter in style and in public at the ceremony held at the port of Mombasa, with President Kenyatta signing it as the witness.
Let's clap for His Excellency.
And indeed, we cannot let the charter that we launched today become yet another document that gathers dust in some forgotten office. We must and we will hold each other accountable.
Each signatory has certain obligations and targets to meet.
As Kenya Pipeline, our commitment is to ensure that we enhance the capacity of the pipeline network system, the storage and the technology.
Our commitments as KRA are to reduce cargo clearance time to a maximum of 24 hours.
As KEPS, we are committing that within the next 1.5 years to 2 years, we will build a fully fledged laboratory in Mombasa.
We are implementing the single window system, which many other countries in the world has done in order to improve the trade logistics environment.
The launch of this dashboard, all those problems will be wiped away. So I'm requesting Your Excellency to wipe them away.
The authority is in charge of monitoring the dashboard and coordinating the implementation of the action agreed upon by all the stakeholders.
The Kenya Maritime Authority will depend on the dashboard to identify where the delays in the cargo logistics chain have occurred.
The charter is basically focused on infrastructure, lowering the cost of business. We fully support that as the Kenya Ships Agency Association. We want to bring more cargo into Kenya. We want to lower the cost, and all our members are behind this initiative.
Speaking as a Ugandan business person, I see this charter will bring a lot of efficiency on the northern corridor. We are happy about this charter because it will reduce the cost of doing business.
We've had barriers along the way removed, dismantled. We've had better transit times than we've seen ever before.
The role of Kenya Railways Corporation, as far as the charter goes, is really to improve on the uptake of cargo from the port. Now, the standard gauge railway is a game changer. One train will carry 200 containers, which is about 100 trucks on the road.
The biggest challenge to us as a highways authority is to ensure that everybody who's using our road, especially the people who are load correctly so that our roads can give the design life.
Our commitment as KEFIS on this charter is to guarantee that from inspection to clearance of the produce, we take 35 minutes.
Under this charter, the Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association will enhance training for its members in order to achieve top high-level efficiency for the delivery of cargo within the region.
The Chamber of Commerce, being a one-stop shop for the business community, we will ensure that the information is disseminated about what our obligations are, to ensure that goods are moving right from the time of their discharge from the port until they cross our boundaries of Kenya.
Under this particular charter, the police will ensure safety of the goods along the route. The police also will be able to ensure that there is no diversion, and at the same time, the smooth process of these goods going to the destination without any obstruction.
During the launch of the charter, speaker after speaker emphasized that it does not matter how well crafted the charter was, but any weakness by any signatory could lead to the collapse of the idea.
The corridor is like a canal. If you create a bottleneck at any point in the canal, any point, then there's a build-up.
The challenges to me is all the stakeholders understand what it means to reduce the cost of doing business and facilitate legitimate trade in a very fast mode, because that's the only way we can position ourselves as a region to be competitive in the globalized economy.
The presidency of the government of Kenya will ensure that all public entities in the charter comply and, when necessary, effect sanctions or rewards through the performance contracting system.
All public institutions that have subscribed to this charter are directed to determine their obligations under this agreement and to begin to meet them. The process will include incorporating these obligations that they have signed off to within this charter in their annual performance contracting process for effective evaluation.
We are setting a charter that allows us to have a tool to impose sanctions which are not willful. So we'll say you committed yourself to this. This is what you have done. These are the sanctions.
We're really excited about this. I think we're planning a big investment behind the charter. We've got about a $55 million program that we're really working with that looks to improve the capacity of the berths, also the software side of it, the productivity of it. And we're also going to be engaging to support the development of an off-take road, a road to help with congestion through Mombasa to get containers out of the port and to customers as quickly as possible.
And this is the full list of the signatories.